Devices of parliamentary proceedings, same for Parliament and state legislature. Question R. First R of every parliamentary proceeding. Usually members ask questions and ministers give reply. Types of question asked are starred question, orally and can ask supplementary question, unstarred question, written and cannot ask supplementary question, and short notice question, orally, notice of less than 10 days. Note, a question can also be asked to private members, and it follow the same procedure as addressed to a minister. 0R. Begins after question R and continues until the day's agenda is completed. Not mentioned in rules of procedure. An Indian invention followed since 1962. It is an informal mechanism where issues are raised without previous consent of urgent public importance. Motion. Motion is a proposal that some action need to be taken or an opinion expressed by a group on general public matters. It requires previous consent of a presiding officer. It can be proposed by both minister or private member. It is divided into substantive motion, substitute motion, and subsidiary motion. Substantive motion. A primary motion that proposes a new idea or course of action. It is a self-contained, independent proposal addressing a major issue. Purpose: to introduce a new topic or idea for consideration and debate. Example: impeachment of president. Substitute motion. A secondary motion that proposes a different course of action in place of the original motion. Purpose: to offer an alternative solution or idea to the original motion that is being considered. Subsidiary motion. A secondary motion that relates to the original motion but does not propose a new idea or course of action. Purpose: to facilitate discussion and decision-making process by modifying or clarifying the original motion. Example: amendments, refer to committee, and postpone to a certain time. Types of motion. Closure motion. It is a proposal made to stop debating on the matter being discussed and make a decision. It is used to put a debate to an end on a matter before the House. It is moved by a member. On approval, the discussion is stopped and topic is submitted to a vote. It is classified as O simple closure. The entire bill or resolution is properly addressed and then put to vote. O closure by compartments, clause by clause or part by part. The provisions of a bill or resolutions are debated and then presented to vote. O kangaroo closure. Most significant and important clause of bills or resolutions are debated and then put to vote. O guillotine closure. Undiscussed clauses of a bill or resolution is put to vote. Privilege motion. It is the proposal made against the minister for breach of parliamentary privileges. It is to censure the minister in question. Calling attention motion. It is the proposal made by the member to bring the attention of minister to matters of urgent public importance and to seek authoritative statement from him. It is mentioned in the rules of procedure. Adjournment motion. It is the proposal made to bring the attention of the House to matters of urgent public importance. It requires support of 50 members to get admitted. It is not moved in Rajya Sabha. It interrupts the normal business of the houses. The discussion should not be less than 2 hours and 30 minutes. It involves an element of censure against the government. It includes various restrictions. It should not deal with more than one subject, raise a privilege issue, topic that is already covered in same session, issue that is currently decided by court. No confidence motion. It is the proposal made to prove the majority of government in the Lok Sabha. It requires 50 supporters to get admitted. It is not moved in Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha can remove the ministry by passing no confidence motion. Difference between censure motion and no confidence motion. Censure motion. Reasons for adoption in the Lok Sabha must be stated. Can be moved against an individual minister, a group of ministers, or the entire Council of Ministers. Moved to censure the Council of Ministers for specific policies and actions. The Council of Ministers is not required to resign if it is passed. No confidence motion. No need to state reasons for adoption in the Lok Sabha. Can be moved only against the entire Council of Ministers. Moved to ascertain the confidence of Lok Sabha in the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers must resign from office if it is passed in the Lok Sabha. Confidence motion. It is the proposal introduced by government itself to prove their majority on the floor of the House. President can ask to government to prove their majority. If defeated, government is forced to resign. It is not moved in Rajya Sabha. Right of President to address and his special address. Article 86. 1. The President may address the either House of Parliament or both the Houses. Article 87. 1. The President shall address both Houses of Parliament. At the beginning of first session after new general election to the Lok Sabha and at the beginning of the first session of each year. Note, if Lok Sabha is dissolved, Rajya Sabha can have its session without President address. This happened in 1977. Article 87. 1. Provisions to be made to reply to the President's address. Motion of thanks, rules of procedure. It is a resolution introduced by the government to express gratitude or appreciation for the President's address. It usually moved after the President's address to the joint session of Parliament. At the end of the debate it is put to vote. It must be passed, otherwise leads to defeat of government. No day yet named motion. It is a procedural motion used to postpone a debate or a decision on a specific matter to an unspecified future date. Dilatory motion. It is a procedural motion used to delay or obstruct the business of the House. It is usually introduced by an opposition member or members. Point of order. It is an important parliamentary procedure used to draw the attention of the presiding officer to a violation of parliamentary procedure or rules or articles of Constitution that regulates House business. It is raised by a member on the breach of parliamentary procedure or rules during a debate. It is not subject to debate or discussion. It is an extraordinary measure that temporarily suspends proceedings in the House. Half an hour duration. It is rising debate on a matter of sufficient public importance, subject to recent question in the House and the answer to which needs clarification on a matter of fact. It is allocated 30 minutes. Short hour duration. It is to draw the attention of the government to matters of urgent public importance to raise a discussion of short duration without a formal motion or vote thereon. It is allocated less than 2 hours. Note, a motion becomes a resolution when the required majority of members accept it. Resolution. A formal proposal put forward by committees or the presiding officer to express the collective will or opinion of its members on a particular matter. It take various forms, such as motions, declarations, or statements addressing a broad spectrum of subjects, including policy decisions, expressions of opinions, or calls for specific actions. May not be subject to debate or amendment. It is generally binding and have legal force. It is of 3 types. O. Private Member's Resolution, moved by a private member on alternate Fridays during the afternoon sitting. O. Government Resolution, moved by a minister, discussed from Monday to Thursday. O. Statutory Resolution, can be moved by either a private member or a minister, always tabled based on constitutional or parliamentary provisions. All resolutions are motion, but vice versa is not true. All resolution must be voted, but all motion may not. Legislative procedure in Parliament. What is a bill? A bill is a proposal for legislation, and it becomes an act or law when duly enacted. Types of bills. Ordinary bill, money bill, financial bill, Constitutional Amendment Bill, Article 368, not applicable to SL. General legislative procedure for a bill to become an act is. Introduction. A bill can be introduced in either House of Parliament. Except Money Bill or Financial Bill I, it is introduced only in Lok Sabha. First reading. The bill is introduced by a Member of Parliament, except Money Bill is introduced only by a minister and presented to the House. It is then published in a gazette. Second reading. The bill is debated in general. It passes through 3 stages. General discussion stage. It is either considered or fixed for some other date or referred to joint committee or select committee or left for public opinion. Committee stage. It scrutinizes the bill in detail, seeks expert opinions, and considers public feedback. It submits its report back to the House. A consideration stage. House evaluates the bill clause by clause and voted upon. The members of Parliament can propose amendments. Third reading. The bill is limited debated and no further amendments can be proposed. Passage. If the bill is passed by appropriate majority in the House where it originated, it is then sent to the other House for consideration. Repeat the process in the other House. Presidential assent. If the bill is passed by both Houses of Parliament, it is sent to the President assent. If signed, the bill becomes a law or an act. Option available for second House. Accept the bill as sent by the first House. Pass the bill with amendment and send back to first House for reconsideration. Reject the bill outright. Leave it pending. President has 3 options. May offer his consent to the bill. May withhold his consent to the bill. May return the bill to the Houses for reconsideration. If bill is passed by both Houses again with or with amendment, the President is bound to give his assent. Exception. Money Bill.
Money Bill, Article 110. Financial Bill, I Article 117(1) and 2 Article 117(2). Definition. It is a legislative proposal related to any matter, except those that fall under the definition of money bills or financial bills. It is a legislative proposal that exclusively deals with matters as listed in Article 110 of the Indian Constitution. It is a legislative proposal that relates to the receipt or expenditure of government funds. Financial Bill I contains items listed in Article 110 along with general law, but Financial Bill II contain expenditure from Consolidated Fund of India but none of Article 110. Introduction. Can be introduced in either House of Parliament. Can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha only by a minister. Financial Bill I is introduced only in the Lok Sabha while Financial Bill II can be introduced in either House of Parliament. Form: Ordinary Bill, Government Bill, Ordinary Bill. Prior approval not required. Prior recommendation of President required. Prior recommendation of President required only for Financial Bill I. President's role: President can give assent or withhold assent or send for reconsideration to the bill. The President cannot return the bill for reconsideration. President can give assent or withhold assent or send for reconsideration to the bill. Passage: Must be passed by both houses of Parliament and given presidential assent. Must be passed by the Lok Sabha and given presidential assent. Rajya Sabha has only recommendatory nature. Must be passed by both houses of Parliament and given presidential assent except Financial Bill II. It uniquely requires the President's recommendation before being considered by either House of Parliament. Role of Rajya Sabha: Can amend and recommend changes to the bill. It cannot amend and reject but can only recommend changes to the bill within 14 days which may or may not be accepted by the Lok Sabha. Can amend and recommend changes to the bill. Certification: Not certified by Speaker. Certified by the Speaker. Not certified by Speaker. Joint sitting. Provision for joint sitting. No provision for joint sitting. Provision for joint sitting.
Definition of money bill under Article 110. A bill is money bill if and only if it contains provisions dealing with the following matters: O. Imposition, modification, remission, alteration, or control of any tax except by local authorities. O. Regulation on union governments borrowing money or providing guarantees. O. Management or custody of Consolidated Fund or Contingency Fund of India, including deposits, withdrawals, and payments. O. Approximation of money from Consolidated Fund of India. O. Declaring expenditures as charged on the Consolidated Fund of India or increasing such expenditures. O. Receiving money related to Consolidated Fund of India or Public Account of India, or their custody, issuance, or audit of Union's account or State's account. O. Any matter accidental to above. Except imposition of fines or other monetary penalties, demand for payment of licensing or service fees.